Space Gang. Today's show is going to be a little different from how we usually handle things. We're talking about a very serious subject. It's involving sexual grooming. Now, if you don't know what that is basically when a person abuses and uses a younger person, an older person abuses a younger person into doing things sexually or sending pictures, sending phones. It can happen. It happens a lot online, and it can happen in person as well. It could be a family member. You just never know. We're gonna get into all of that inside of the episode on the other side of the intro. So we'll see you on the inside. Yo, Space Gang. Welcome to a brand new episode of the BK Spades Show. I am your host, the BK Spades, and I am here with my very lovely co-host,
Novacaine. Baby.
All right. So, how y'all doing today, Space Gang? Excuse the hat. It's hat day here at the show. It's impromptu hat day. Your boy, my hairline is returning, and you know I can't let y'all see.
Hey, yang.
I can't let y'all see me like half unbald, so it's not happening. I had to put a hat on today, and Novacaine decided to follow suit. And
I just was like, let me put on my hat too. Shit, it's hat day.
And you got the door. Is that? No, those are hoops, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hoops. I like hoops. I think like they're so cool. It's like the most Afrocentric thing ever.
Yeah. I didn't feel like doing my fro too, so I was like, when I saw you with your hat, I was like, shoot, perfect. I still got my little bush back there, but you know.
I see you. You looking good, girl. You looking good. So, I know you heard the intro, and I know you seen the posters that we've been posting like all week for this show. So, you know what's happening on the show now.
Yeah.
But before we get into all of that, do me a favor and head over to www.thebkspadeshow.com, where you can get blogs, all the shows, every episode, video and audio, you know what I'm saying? And head over to Apple Podcasts so you can go on over there, listen to the show, and give us a review and some stars on that review.
Stars.
Nova, tell them why they got to go over there to the Apple Podcast.
Space Gang, you already know what time it is. Go over to Apple Podcasts and leave those ratings, leave those reviews. We are still in the competition to get into the top 250 ratings. Right. Top 250. Space Gang, I know we could do it. We just need your help. So head over to Apple Podcasts, listen to some episodes, you know what I'm saying? Leave your ratings for can you leave ratings for each episode? I don't even have Apple, but
you know what? Just do it anyway. Every time we get
if you can, just leave a rating for each one.
Yeah. So
and we need you, Space Gang, and also we say we need the written reviews as well, so we know which direction to go next.
That's right. We need to know which way to grow. So
grow. Which way to glow?
All of that. No, okay. So I was surfing the internet, right, as I do because I be bored sometimes, and I came across a weird article. Well, it's not really okay. It's kind of weird. So
was it weird?
There's basically a hard drive for DNA.
Whoa,
I mean, they say storage, but you know,
snap.
Yeah, it's beginning. The humanoid robot apocalypse, I guess.
Oh, snap. Space Gang, y'all already know how I feel about these conspiracy theories. Bruh, the zombies and the robots at the same time.
Right. So
zombies.
All right, so
robot. A zombie robot? Nah, I'm not here for it.
Before Abraham Lincoln. Anyway, before we get too deep into the conspiracy circle of things, I got an article from Yahoo. This is June 10th, 2021, and it's titled DNA Data Storage Alliance publishes first white papers. If you don't know what that is, that's like when they have big scientific achievements,
Mm-hmm.
something new has been created, or that type of thing. They do white papers, so they like a dissertation
Mm.
type of thing. And I'm not
Okay.
going to go too deep into this. You can read it. I just told you where to go. Is Yahoo News. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
this
Mm-hmm.
paper here, it says the DNA. Well, on this article, it says the DNA Data Storage Alliance, an organization of more than 25 leading companies formed by Twist Bioscience Corporation, Illumina Inc., and Western Digital, together with Microsoft Research, today announced its first white paper titled Preserving Our Digital Legacy, an Introduction to DNA Data Storage. So buckle up, you guys. They can now store data. And now I have seen people talk about this like on TikTok and stuff, and they're freaked out about this. But every human advancement we ever had, there's always a group of us that's like, well, wait a minute, right? So how do you actually feel about this?
Well, they've already been collecting the data, There's they already have a tracking device on us with the social security number. Like
Yeah, basically.
it is what it is. But the fact that there's actual human DNA that is
That's
in a
wild.
database on
Well,
a hard
technically,
drive.
well, I mean, technically, a lot of our DNA is somewhere in a database anyway, right?
Oh, you're right. Think about how many times you go to the doctor and get your blood taken, right?
Blood taking, hospital runs.
Yeah.
I've given blood to
When you
Blue Cross,
donate
right?
blood,
Yeah.
yeah.
So plasma.
Oh.
We're all over the place with our DNA in the first place. We're just going around the world dropping DNA everywhere, y'all.
No, right? No, you're right. You're right. You're so right about that. And then don't have like your family members like on ancestry or something like that. That's
Yeah,
also, so oh man.
yeah, yeah.
That just made me so nervous. Like the anxiety that just came over my body just now. Woo!
You
The
know what?
possibilities.
You know what?
Bruh.
Let me reassure you. I feel
Bruh.
like this time they're going to be responsible with this new scientific discovery.
Mm.
All right, but we're going to move on because we don't want to head down conspiratorial lane here.
No, no, no. I'm not even conspiracy
I
wise
know. Well, I
either.
mean, it's technically not a
Like,
conspiracy; it's actually a thing now. So you can't. It can't
it's
be a
happening.
conspiracy if
It's
it's real.
happening. It's happening. It's
So,
already here. There is a whole hard drive of human DNA.
but I don't know if it's actually made. Well, it has to be in some capacity. Like they got to have prototypes and stuff at this point. But we're gonna move on.
The earth is going to be woman.
All right, here we go. My I was also still surfing the internet, and I stumbled upon this article at npr.org,
Mm-hmm.
and it's basically the title here is dealing with the virus of the corona, and it says U.S. life expectancy fell by 1.5 years in 2020. That's the biggest drop since World War II. And like I said, this is basically because of the virus that we've been hit with. We lost a lot of lives. I don't have the exact number, but I think we talked about that at one point in our last season at the beginning.
Yeah. So
So
wait, and it's risen since then for sure. Since the last time we talked numbers.
it has risen, but I don't think it's risen by like the way it was rising initially. We do have a
Okay.
Delta variant out as well,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah,
here in
we
this
got a lot of
article it
variants.
says COVID-19 contributed to 74% of the decline in life expectancy from 78.8 years in 2019 to 77.3 years in 2020, according to the CDC's National Center for Health Statistics. It was the largest 1 year decline since World War II, when life expectancy
Mm.
dropped by 2.9 years between 1942 and 1943. Hispanic and Black communities saw the biggest decline. And for African Americans, life expectancy dropped by 2.9 years from 74.7 years in 2019 to 71 in 2020. So 71.8 in 2020. So, as always, the African American and by
That
way of other
is,
people of color, maybe so, always get like the biggest drop.
yeah, that's really unfortunate.
But yeah, make sure, I mean, if you want to read it yourself, it's an article by Jane
NPR.org.
Green Hell. I'm pretty sure I butchered the hell out of that name. So yeah, that was
But it's the
my
life
news
expectancy
transition.
one, right?
Hmm?
It's the life expectancy one, right?
Yes,
I should put
U.S.
some
life
concealer
expectancy
on or
fell by
something.
1.5 years. That's the article. Crazy, right?
Crazy.
But that's
Insanity.
my around the internet moment for today.
Insanity.
We're
Life
definitely gonna
expectancy dropping. Ooh, the biggest drops, the biggest decline since World
one
War
year
Two.
decline. One
One
year
year.
decline.
1 year decline.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta preference that thing correctly, you know.
Uh,
So if you've seen the
okay.
poster, let's get into today's topic. If you've seen the poster, you definitely seen Drake Bell, Velveteen Dream, and you saw Ali Micheal on the cover. And at the beginning of the episode, I told you what grooming was. These three celebrities in particular probably had some of the biggest moments in grooming recently on the internet, sexual
Uh,
grooming on the internet. Of course, the Me Too movement had a bunch of wrestlers exposed. In fact, WWE UK had a few wrestlers that they let go of. Pretty much a chunk of that roster was let
a
go.
chunk?
Yeah, a few people and some from their CWC cruiserweight division as well was let go of, including Velveteen Dream, which actually held on to his job way after the controversial uh, tweets and messaging was released about him. In that messaging, there was a young man who said Velveteen basically contacted him, or they contacted each other some kind of way, and
Mhm.
they were messaging and DMing, and eventually Velveteen allegedly asked for pictures of the young man, and I think
Whoa.
the Dream sent some pictures of himself to him as well.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it got really bad. Whatever WWE, um, they did an investigation or whatever the investigation entailed. After everybody that was let go, he was not let go. He wasn't let go till months later, and they even tried to maintain the push and stuff. So it kind of has a lot of back and forth between the wrestling community because I'm a part of that on Twitter. Whether or not there was actual evidence found, it was. I don't think there was actually any police or anything involved. Um,
Hmm. I didn't even know Velveteen Dream was in all of. I didn't even realize,
yeah,
exactly what happened with him.
and that's
But
just
I
tipping the
did know
iceberg.
that, it took. I do know that the WWE took a little while to release him, though.
Yeah, they definitely did. Doesn't matter what I feel personally. I'm always let the investigation play out
Yeah.
before you start making all kinds of crazy statements and stuff because you're just gonna embarrass yourself and add more vitriol and more confusion to a
So is
situation.
that what they were waiting for?
I'm not sure. It may have been some backstage pushback as
Hmm.
to why he was actually released. Because I do remember Triple H putting out a statement basically saying they were behind him and they did their own investigation and they didn't find any reason to release him. And legally, that may actually be true. Morally, though, different story. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. I think that's the thing people don't understand. There's a difference between legality and morals.
Yeah. There is a
Legal,
huge difference
yeah,
because the things that are legal aren't really moral at all. Like when you
that
sit down and look at the Constitution, man.
right, and that and the fact that this is a multi-billion. dollar corporation. They have investors, they have rules, they have regulations, they have things in place that they have been building on for years, rules that they have been building on for years. And to just fire a person without the proper evidence could be
Mm,
blowback to them. So they have to be careful with how they navigate things. And that's not to say WWE is exonerated by any means. It's just
mm.
saying because they do play loose with their rules like all the time. So
Right.
it's kind of hard to be like, yeah, that's definitely what happened when we really don't know, you know? But he did recently try to. He did recently get booked on the show, and they had to take him off the show because of Twitter backlash.
Mm.
If you,
Oh,
yeah, if
so
you
it
get
was the people that took him off the show.
this now, this is a non WWE show. He's been fired for months now, but yeah, this
Oh,
is a
okay.
non. But listen,
That's
if
still
anybody
wild,
gonna,
though.
yeah, if anybody gonna get you, if the law misses you, Twitter never forgets.
Twitter never forgets. Somebody on Twitter is going to always remember something.
Yeah,
It's never going to go away. That's why you got to be careful with the decisions that you're making. Like, that shit's going to stick with you forever.
it will. And I
It
was a
don't matter
fan.
how many years went by.
It don't. I was a fan of her, and I've been a fan of a lot of these celebrities and stuff. So the
I'm
Bill
not really hip.
Cosby's.
I'm not really hip of it. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, it's for those people who's like, well, I'm a fan and I don't want to believe this stuff. I get it. It's really hard to be a
Mm-hmm.
fan of someone, and then these allegations come up. You don't want to believe that the person you've been investing your time and your money in would do something like this. But step away and put yourself in those victim shoes, and
Yeah.
I think you'll have a different feeling about how things go
Mm-hmm.
sometimes.
That was me and Michael Jackson.
Oh man, Michael Jackson was technically, from all the allegations that was pushed his way, he
Against
was
him,
considered a
he
groomer
was
too.
considered, yeah, he definitely was considered a groomer.
Which
That was heartbreaking.
it was. I think the black community really wanted to stand behind Michael.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
when these things happen, what do you like? How do you really feel about them? Like you said, Michael Jackson, you were a fan in that moment when you were coming up hearing this. How did you? What was your reaction? Your initial reactions?
Well, coming up as a fan because, born in the 90s or whatever, uh, all you see is Michael Jackson, but there was like in the culture, there was like this running joke of like, the black him and the white him and things like that.
Yeah.
And how, there's a huge conspiracy against Michael and they want to take him out. So as a young child, there was times when I believed that, it was just a ploy against him and everything.
Hmm.
But as I gotten older, I had to be, it was probably like right after he passed, because he passed. Yeah, like right after he passed. Because I think he passed like, what, 2009?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like 19 at the time. So around that time, that's when I started like really looking at things for what it was. And
Hmm.
then I was like, nah, he was more than likely a groomer. And it's heartbreaking
It is.
because these huge iconic stars, legends, well, he's not living anymore, but legends that lived during your time on this earth, and they're fucking sick to their head. So they started to make me think like greats of the past. How sick were they?
Right, because you had people like Elvis and a few others in that era as well, dating young as well.
They said, yeah, they said Elvis was also a groomer. Well, I think it's actually public knowledge that he was married to a woman that was underage.
Yeah, but even in the Bible, this is where things get convoluted, especially talking about the past.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not in Elvis's time, but like
Mm-hmm.
let's say biblical time period. A lot of people, you were a woman at like 12, 13.
Yeah, as soon as your period starts, you're a woman and you can be sold up and you could be sold off to like whatever. You can be wherever your family wants to send you. That's where you're going.
Yeah, so I think it's
Whoever made
important.
the best deal,
Yeah,
basically.
so I think the nuance there, and it is very important. I'm gonna say it that way. It is very important that you realize that times change,
Hmm.
perceptions change as we learn more about the mental capacity of our youth, as we
Hmm.
learn more about how big of a difference it really is between adult and young. Because sometimes I know you see like a year and you're like, oh, they're 17 and they're 16, it's just a year. But the things that you're exposed to when you're 18, 16, 17, they're not exposed to, at least
Hmm.
not normally.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to jump back into this subject. So, Ali Micheal is a
Hmm.
model. I think she's in her 30s now. This article that I'm reading, I think this situation actually happened a few years ago, back in 2017. But I don't know if you're familiar with Stranger Things, the show. I'm pretty sure most of us are. I know you know the show.
I know the show. I haven't watched it. I know the show though.
One of the leads, I forgot his name. It's been a while. Uh, Ben Woodhard, which is Wolfhard. I'm sorry, which is one of the
Isn't that with it?
strangest. Is it Wolford? I
I
want to say
don't know.
Wolford. Look, it's spelled Wolfhard.
Oh,
Wolford.
Wolford.
So Finn Wolford was 14 at the time in 2017, where he got added on Instagram by the 27-year-old model. Uh, what did I say her name was? Ali Micheal.
How old was he?
He was 14 at the time.
Ugh. And she
And
was 27.
yes, and she basically said, not to be weird, but hit me up in 4 years. So she's 27 and she's telling this 14-year-old kid to hit her up in 4 years. And I bring this up because we usually don't see these type of grooming situations. And this is how they can
How
start.
it could start. Hmm.
But this young man was smart enough to realize what was happening here. And his response was, which is it was kind of epic though. But he was basically like, yeah, that's gross. And it's crazy. It's nuts. He said it was nuts and it was gross and it was weird. And then she came back and she apologized.
Ew.
But I'm sure it's something
She
she wants to put behind
nasty.
her. But I just wanted to point that out that we always get sexual misconduct one way. We always see it as men preying on either younger boys, like with the Catholic Church, or men preying on women on the internet. But it could come from anywhere.
I can. It
You
doesn't
know,
matter what gender you are.
it does not. It doesn't matter what gender. It doesn't. If you're an adult and you're preying on a child, you're grooming that child. We've
You're
seen people.
grooming. And you're gross.
What was that?
You're the
Woody
scum of the
Allen.
earth.
Like Woody Allen, remember him? I think he dated his daughter or something like that. And
What?
was it like his
Excuse me?
stepdaughter? Was it like his stepdaughter or something like that? Or adopted daughter? I can't really
You just
remember.
made my stomach hurt, dog.
But yeah, these things was happening years ago. Like this is not some new phenomenon.
It's not. It is not. Grooming has been around for a very long time.
And let's not even we didn't
Like
even
we
bring
were
up R.
saying
Kelly
before we do, like you
before
were
we get into
saying
tails.
in the beginning um, of this conversation, how it was more acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like some mental thought patterns for some people just don't evolve through time, and it's just passed down through generation, and these people think that is okay, and it's not. It's sick. It's extremely sick.
Yeah.
uh when you said how she said that to him, holla at me for years, it recalled that one lyric. Was it McMain and the
Hmm.
song Every Girl? I
Oh
wish I could fuck every girl in the world. You know the
yeah,
song.
yeah.
And he goes, in about 3 years, holla at me, Miley Cyrus. And at the time, Miley Cyrus was definitely underage. He was a grown ass man in his late 20s, maybe early
Yeah.
30s.
Look,
You
I
know what I'm
can.
saying? And he said that. There
It's
wasn't no
weird.
huge outrage or anything. Like,
It was totally accepted.
it was just funny. People was funny, thought it was funny because they thought that, they saw what he was saying was like a premonition to like her wholeness that was on his way, or that he saw something in her. But
Yeah.
in reality, when you're listening to the song, he wanted to fuck her in 3 years
There.
when
Look.
it was legally
Yeah, that's
okay
basically
to
what
do
it is.
that.
Just put it out there. That's exactly what it was. I mean, let's see, Mila Kunis in what was it? That
Ew.
70s show. People were talking about her.
And she was underage at
She
the
was
time.
underage. Who else? Who else? Zendaya. That's one of the recent ones that everybody was on the countdown for. And it's crazy because as a male, I'm usually around conversations of other males, and you
Huh?
definitely see the. I'm saying I'm in conversations with other men because I know men, and they usually have the men talk, and it's like, yeah, when that chick gets 18, she gonna be
Pause.
bad.
As soon as one of them niggas say some nasty shit like that, go on his ass. That's nasty as shit. I
Look,
never forget when this one dude told me, "Oh yeah, Sasha gonna be a problem." Talking about Sasha Obama, and I was like, "Nigga, that's nasty.
that is gross.
You a grown ass man looking at this little girl."
All right, so
And honestly, we gonna keep it real
keep it a
because
buck.
some women, some young girls do be looking like some grown ass women sometimes. I'm not. We're gonna keep it real.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you know that this little girl is a little ass fucking girl, you don't make comments like that.
I mean, they was all in the Catch Me Outside girls inbox too.
Disgusting.
It is, and I'm not finna sit here and like throw rocks. I was also a 16, 17, 18-year-old male as well, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in those conversations, I didn't check those guys because in my mind, it was just everyday conversation, which is
But
something
you
else
was
that
16, 17, 18. That's in the
this is
same
true.
age range. I'm
But
talking about niggas grown.
when you talking 30, 20, 26, 27, 30, I get it. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying I was also in that mentality. When I hear it, it's just like, okay, they said that. I know they can't. In my mind, this is how you think in those moments. You're like, they can't touch them. It's not. It doesn't matter. I didn't realize that it absolutely did matter. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
the older I get, and no, I'm not doing the whole because I have a daughter thing. I think that's the dumbest statement ever. You should be right because it's the right thing to do, not because you have a daughter. That's dumb.
Thank you. Thank
But the
you.
older I get,
I hate
and
niggas that say that too. I'm sorry I keep on saying niggas, but I hate dudes because it's not. It's. I feel like black men and niggas are two completely different species. But
I
it be straight niggas that say that, and it's just it irks my nerves because it's like you said. Why can't you just be a good person?
yeah, I mean, I don't see
You
anything
have a
wrong with being good.
mother first before you had a daughter, not because you got a mother. What if you
Yeah,
got a
like you've been
sister,
around
or
females half
or
your
what if
life.
or what if you was born a woman? Would you want to be treated like that? Like, I just don't understand. I just
I can only tell you from my experiences and the mindset that I would have been in those moments, and in the mindset that I was before I got my shit together mentally. It was
mm-hmm.
like it's just everyday talk. Like you hear this type, it's water cooler talk. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
reason half of the men in America didn't react to when President Trump said "grab her by the pussy." Because it's just how they
Mm.
talk when they're with their friends. And he's like, it was a private conversation. That was one thing, you know? And these are private conversations for the most part. But once these conversations became public conversations in chat rooms, and then they got even more public on Facebook walls, and then they got even more public with Twitter and on Instagram. And we start to evolve as humans, and we're like, yo, there's a
Fuck
group of
that.
us that was like, that shit's gross as fuck. And we shouldn't be talking like that, no matter if you can't touch that
There
person,
you go. Thank
because
you.
now you're just perpetuating the same misogynistic, toxic behaviors. I know we're tired of that word, but
It's
It is what it
true.
is.
It's
It's
heavy
true
right
though,
now. The
because we just continue
misogyny is
this same,
heavy.
yeah, and we're continuing these same practices, and we're not fixing them. And in order for us to fix them, is we have to call them out. And that's the part that I didn't realize. Yes, I cringed when I heard the when you see those people that's counting down to someone turning 18, but I never stood up to it. It was like, yo, that you bugging. That's weird. Like, don't do that.
It's
I didn't
one
know how
thing
to do
to
that.
not know how to because, like you said, there was honestly everyone that's pretty much a millennial. We're changing the path of life right now.
Yeah, we're definitely
So
going against everything we've been taught.
the things that we did not agree with, it was when we were able to actually start having these conversations, we didn't know how to have these
Yeah,
conversations. So a lot of us probably even backed away or even just not mess with those people anymore. But
true.
now that we have a voice, we've learned how to navigate through the conversation. It's a lot easier. So you can't I can understand not having the conversation as soon as possible, but at least it's being held.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
we're definitely getting better.
because like you said, these conversations have been held in private for so long. Shit, the KKK been having conversations in private too.
No, that's facts. They still having conversations in private. You
They
just
still having
not.
conversations.
But we're not going to get into them. That's going to take us to
Not
a whole nother
today.
trip. We still
Not
got a few
today.
things to
Today.
talk about before we end this conversation on grooming, because I still want to give you a few factors about it.
Do we have
But
to
I
get
do
into
have
our?
one.
Oh, we
But
already talked about R. Kelly.
no, we have not talked about R. Kelly. But before we get into R. Kelly, which right now is technically like the king of grooming at this point, we got to talk about Drake Bell, because I think his situation is a little weird.
Yeah,
And
let's talk about Tricky Drake.
all right, so we brought him up last week on the show. Drake Bell is basically, Drake and Josh, that guy. Um, so Drake met one girl's family. I can't find her name right now, but we're just gonna call her the victim here for the sake of what it is. He met the victim when she was like 14, 15, something like that. She was young. And they have a relationship. Like his family, I mean, her family and him are cool. Like they've been interacting. And I guess by way of him interacting with the family, he interacted with the little girl because she was a huge fan. Her auntie introduced them. So, bear with me. We're going to get through it, I promise. So,
I got my seat. I got my seatbelt on. I
as
got it buckled up. I got it buckled up.
the auntie began to bring her around Drake often, I guess, whenever they were in town with him, because she was a super fan. We're going to skip all the other details. We're going to talk about the moment that her auntie brought her to a hotel room. And apparently, Drake was asking her to do sexual things to him inside of the room, but her auntie was outside the door. Also, there was also a moment where the young lady was in the car. I guess the auntie may have been in the front seat or driving or something. And Drake and the young lady was in the back seat of the car.
Oh
And apparently, allegedly, she performed oral sex on him or something like that.
Whoa.
That also happened in the hotel room. That also supposedly happened in the hotel room. So
I didn't know all of this happened.
The auntie was in the front seat of the car.
I got my finger on the button. I can take my seatbelt off?
No, not yet. So Drake ends up getting community service. I think he got like 200 hours of community service. And in the court case, this is where these details start to come out after the sentencings and stuff. Because she's talking to him and
who's she? The auntie?
No, the girl. The auntie they're saying the auntie didn't know these things was happening. That's what makes the case weird. Because the auntie was outside the door, the auntie was in the front seat. I think the auntie is estranged from the family because they're upset at her. But it was things inside of this case that Drake, her team, the victim's team, didn't bring up, that the girl brought up afterwards, which was the hotel incident, the car incident, and anything involving with basically the auntie driving her or bringing her to places, or being right outside the door, or being inside of the car when these things was happening. Because how do you not know that these things are happening inside of the car when you know, you're right there. You're in the front seat. Did you not turn around? And also, there was
Take my
text
seatbelt
messages.
off.
What will I say? There were some messages and stuff that may have been given, and I think Drake's fiance or wife or whatever intercepted them, and basically start answering for Drake. And they saying he was saying the victim was saying that they were trying to like make it all go away in a sense. So I don't know. He, like I said, he only got 200 hours of community service.
What?
The girl is a woman now. She's 19. And meanwhile, when she was saying they were on a Zoom call in the court, and he was on one screen, she was on another screen, and she was explaining all this stuff that wasn't presented in court. I think it wasn't presented in court because he looked like he was shocked that he was hearing it, and you know what I'm saying. It didn't come off as easy as it should have. Like if this was a real grooming case and there was real sexual assault here, it should have been way easier to get this out.
Okay, first of all, it's definitely a grooming case, but this one is a special case because the auntie definitely got something to do with it. I'm taking that seatbelt off. What is going on? She talking about something she didn't know anything was going on, and she driving. The little girl was giving him what? Fellatio in the
Like
back seat,
yeah,
and
that's
she
exactly.
driving. How you not going to see that?
I
How do
know.
you not see that?
The only
Because you're not looking or you ignoring it.
Yeah,
Something's
you don't look out your back window. You looking out the rear view. If you're driving,
you have to look in
you
the
are
rear view
looking.
mirror. You, bruh, I was so pissed. That's what I was like when you said that. Yeah. Okay. On top of, I feel like this aunt should also be charged.
I agree. I
She should
absolutely feel that
also
way.
be charged because if he's supposed to be a friend of the family, and each time this girl and him are together having something going on, and the auntie's there each time, or more often than not, why isn't she being charged?
I don't know. I feel
Then
like
on top of that, the little girl,
she was a little girl at the time. Now she's 19.
now she's 19. So now she fucked up and thinking that this is the love of her life.
That's what it seems like.
Oh, I want this to go away. And this man got a whole wife. I didn't even know he had a
A
wife.
wife or a fiance or something close to a wife. But yeah,
That's even more disgusting.
it is. It's all disgusting.
Dog, like
This
they
is
say
probably
you
like
never really know who you laying next to sometimes.
that's true, but I don't know. It all doesn't listen. Either the auntie really knew what was happening, or this shit wasn't going down that way. That's the only two choices. Now, was he grooming? Probably, but I don't
He
know.
definitely was grooming that
I don't
girl.
know.
If
I
she's
don't know if it
hitting
went to sexual assault though. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if
Brody,
it moved on to
Brody.
sexual. I don't know. I
How old
can't
were
tell you.
how were they how old was she when that
I think.
like 14?
Let's see. In her statement Monday, the woman accused the actor of grooming her since she was 12. Sending her graphic photos.
12.
It says that he was sending her graphic photos and engaging in sexual misconduct in two separate incidents, all of which Bell's lawyer denied. My
12.
life hasn't been the same since I was 15. I think about these crimes every single day. I feel like I'm in a constant dark place. Sometimes I wish I could disappear so I can forget about what happened. She concluded that Jared Drake Bell is a pedophile and that is his legacy. Bell, whose first name is Jared, pleaded guilty via Zoom to felony attempted child endangerment and misdemeanor charge of disseminating matter harmful to juveniles in June. The 35-year-old actor initially pleaded not guilty to the charges, but explained his decision to accept the plea deal during the sentencing hearing Monday. Today, I accept this plea because my conduct was wrong. I'm sorry that the victim was harmed in any way. That was obviously not my intention. Bell said in a brief statement, I have taken the matter very, very seriously. And again, I just want to apologize to her and anyone else who may have been affected by my actions. His lawyer, stated that uh, the guilty plea and sentence reflect conduct for Mr. Bell did that he accepted the responsibility. This is when, after all that happened, then that's when she went and added the sexual misconduct and relations and all that good stuff. So my whole thing is grooming. Yes, it's hard to say yes or no to because they did not bring any of that up. You know what I'm saying? If you had an open, if you had an open and shut case like that, if you were a lawyer and you had the information that your first of all, you got a celebrity. This dude is not a small time celebrity.
No.
So you got a huge case here. This is almost Bill Cosby level. What's the other guy? Bill Cosby.
Harvey Weinstein.
Harvey Weinstein. This is like a open shut moment here.
It's huge.
Why did you not continue with that part of the story? You know, that's why I'm baffled. That's why I'm baffled here.
I'm really at a loss of words as well because it's just 200 hours. Just.
Well, it is the lesser charge.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Because
is it because it's not multiple girls coming out?
I don't even know if he actually.
Is it because he was a friend of the family?
I don't know if he actually sent any like exactly
I can't
like
say
was nude sent.
Is it because he's young?
Was explicit. What you mean? Because Drake is still pretty young.
He ain't young. He older than me, ain't he?
He's in his 30s, but compared to everybody else that's been in this situation, he's considerably younger than all of them.
Yeah,
I mean, all the major stuff. Your Weinstein,
right.
your Cosby.
You're right.
And yes, he did.
Even does. What's the dude from NBC? He was like in his 40s, 50s too. You're right.
Matt Lauer. Is that Matt?
Matt Lauer.
Matt Lauer, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so many of these that it's not really hard to keep up with, but it's just like, yo, Hollywood got an issue here, and I doubt they ever solve it. And I'm not saying that the girl's allegations is not true. I'm just saying it's, as a lawyer, with a case like this, if I had a case like this, I'm going all the way. I'm trying to get everything. All right, so let's switch gears. And you wanted to talk about R. Kelly?
Yeah, I guess we can since he's in the news right now, and the topic is grooming.
The hell Kells do this time?
Well, according to various sources, he's actually being prosecutors are bringing up new evidence that he had sexual abuse against a young male back in 2006.
Wow.
As well as some more sex trafficking, as racketeering, and he also tried to bribe someone. He tried to bribe in February.
How he gonna bribe somebody? I thought he was like, there was a lack of funds going on over there.
Well, people lie every day, B. I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm not sure if we actually found out. Do we really know for a fact that he broke, or?
I just know he didn't have the rights to his music. The record company definitely owns that.
Really?
And that he was low on funds. I think one of the girls was stating that or something like that. So yeah. I mean, what is there left to be said about R. Kelly at this point, though? Like,
nothing is surprising anymore. Like, I already had a feeling that, after watching the Surviving R. Kelly on Lifetime, I had already had the feeling that he was like pretty much, into boys too. What was stopping him?
I didn't watch Surviving R. Kelly. That's how tired of R. Kelly news I was. Twitter had me covered. They was like releasing every single situation. Yeah. Twitter was
when it dropped, Twitter definitely was booming. Like they was going in. So you don't really necessarily have to watch it, but
No, go support if you want to support.
after
I'm
watching
always.
it, I think I was watching wherever I was working at the time. I was watching it with my coworkers and things, and it was just wow, you know how other people are, and me,
Yeah.
I'm just sick the entire time, like ugh. But like, what was stopping him? I wasn't surprised when the allegations of this young boy came out. 17-year-old young male
Yeah.
that he met in a McDonald's parking lot. That's the part that's tripping me out.
Listen, man, Kels is one of them people that turned out to be really controlling. And he liked his environment to be whatever he wanted his environment to be. And I think in his mind, he felt like he was invincible. And for a long time, he was. But as you can see, that invincibility only goes so far. That's how I kind of feel like his money was running out. Because I'm like, whatever invincibility shield he was rocking with, the funds either ran low or the gas is gone or whatever. But he ain't have it no more. Somebody talked, they wanted. When the money run out, listen, I'm not saying victims don't come out for the sake of coming out, but aside from the victims, somebody else had to be leaking some shit. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I don't know. I feel like with the whole R. Kelly thing, the victims weren't happy because of what happened previously. Like it says that he met that little boy. Well, that young man, 17-year-old male, young boy,
Yeah,
in the McDonald's parking lot in 2006, and that made me feel like he was hitting on dudes that I was going to high school with, like while I was in school. Like what?
R. Kelly was definitely the dude from college coming back to holler at the high school student.
Yeah, trifling.
What's crazy is,
but
I knew guys like that too.
Victims, I feel like during that time, because especially at that time, he was also going through that case with the other young lady. I forgot her name, but everyone knows the case, with the video of him urinating on the woman and the young girl.
And Sparkle's niece or something like that. Artist Sparkle. She was an artist of R. Kelly's, I believe.
Oh, I thought that was a whole nother story.
Oh, that's another story.
Yeah, I thought that was a whole nother story.
I don't know. I thought that was the same. See, it's so many. It's all starting to come together. Like,
yeah, I thought that was a whole. You talking about Sparkle, the
singer?
The singer. Yeah, I think that's a whole nother story. That wasn't her in that video.
Oh, I know that wasn't her.
Oh.
I'm saying, wasn't that not her niece?
I think it was like her niece or something.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I was saying like that was her niece.
Okay. Yeah. And then apparently she had something going on with him when she was underage too. Yeah. Apparently. Listen. Anyway, he was going through that at the time, and he got off of that case because they said, certain body parts didn't match up, and he didn't have like a mole on his back or whatever. So a lot of the victims probably just never gave up. And then 2018, 19 hit, and they're like, we're going to take him down,
Yeah.
Because honestly, R. Kelly was all over the early 2000s, 2000 to
it was.
From 2000 to about 2008, I want to say, maybe even 2009. That's that whole decade for real.
Yeah. Had R. Kelly not been, and I'm not trying to go into this too deep, but I'm just saying, had R. Kelly not been in any of this trouble, he would definitely still be one of, if not the reigning artist of our time. Like,
he would be.
He would definitely be right at the top of this thing.
He would actually be the real king of R&B, but we can't say that because he's a sicko.
Well, that's true. It's a wrap for any of that. And I am the type that let work stand for itself, but
it's hard, BK.
No, I think you could definitely separate the art. Do you know how many trouble artists there are? Like that we celebrate
everybody.
All artwork, like literally most of them.
Everybody.
It's like
every single last one of them.
So I don't have to buy any of this stuff because most of the R. Kelly stuff I already had,
Right.
So it's not like I'm buying anything new. I don't really
Right? I'm not
stream.
buying anything new. I'm not
And
really streaming it.
yeah, when his songs come up in my playlist, I kind of skip it because hey, I don't be in the
It's
mood
not
for
even
R.
just
Kelly.
his songs. That's why I was saying, like, that's why it gets hard because he's all, when I say all over, not just his music, he
Everybody else is too. You're
produced,
right. You're
you know what
right.
I'm saying? He was writing music. He was all over everywhere. Every, just about every artist that was hot between 2000 2009, just about every artist, Kales was on it.
And it's hard, like you said. Like think about it. Bill responsible for producing a lot of stuff. Bill Cosby, he
Yeah.
produced a lot of stuff. He was in a lot
Yeah.
of stuff with other people, Different World, Fat Albert,
Harvey
Little
Weinstein
Bill.
too.
But Weinstein Company hang that up too, because they
Bruh,
had their
every
hands in
movie
things
ever.
that even it's like literally almost everything you
Everything.
consume. Like, oh, I don't wanna mess with Microsoft too much, so I don't buy no Xbox. But then you got to have the operating system on your PC,
There you
or
go.
you eat McDonald's French fries. Their
Let's
potatoes
not
is grown on Bill Gates' property, so
let's not talk
there's
about
that.
companies that's been here that used to either buy or sell slaves either. Like, that's what people don't understand. Like, everything has, just about everything that we consume has a dark past.
Yes.
In just about every entertainer that was huge, every genius, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's no way you can get around with supporting them. You might not buy. Have you ever tried to go in the store and not buying a Bisco product? You can hang that
Have
shit
you
up
ever
too.
tried to not buy something underneath Johnson and Johnson? Have you ever not tried to buy something? You said Nabisco. What's another good one?
Half of Mars. What? No, I think Mars might be owned by Nabisco too. I don't even remember. The
I
list is
think
so huge. It's
Mars
so
is under Nabisco. The list is huge.
Nestle. Oh God, Nestle is like super juggernaut, super.
Bruh. Bruh.
And
So
then if you
it's,
don't listen, if you don't buy their product directly, you're buying it indirectly.
and
So
there you go. That's exactly what I was about to
so
say. There you
you
go.
might you like yeah I'm gonna go support this black owned company right here because I know all they stuff organic. Yeah, but that don't mean that the water they're using ain't owned by Nestle because they own water reserves. Uh, that don't mean that an ingredient inside of their product. Yeah, you bought this candy bar from a small business, but that don't mean the chocolate that they use is like theirs. Where you think they got it from?
That's always been one of my dreams actually, is to be a like a outsell for chocolate.
I mean, good luck. Like that's a admirable industry to be inside of, actually.
I'm hip.
Yeah. So before we jump off the bandwagon again of this conversation, let me read this article to you. The article
Uh-oh.
is actually from 2017 from allure.com. Listen, don't judge where the source is, but it's a good source. It's a good source. What is sexual grooming? 7 things to know about this abuse tactic. This was written in 2017. All right. So number one, anyone can be a victim. I
Mm-hmm.
want to state that again. Anyone can be a
Anyone.
victim.
Anyone. No matter who you are.
We have moments where we shame victims, and I definitely don't want to come off that way or do that here on our show because it's hard. It's a thin line when you have to walk between giving the evidence of something and giving, I don't want to say your opinion, but just how it looks. Because a lot of times it's real easy to slip off into that. And we do that in
Mm-hmm.
society really like a lot. We're like, yeah, we're explaining this case, but then, you're trying to prove your favorite celebrity or something like that. But anyway, that's all. I'm sorry. But yeah, anyone can be a victim. No one is immune to grooming.
Mm-hmm.
Grooming can occur at any age, and it has a great deal to do with gullibility, insecurity, religion, and culture. It starts by targeting a vulnerable person, then building trust. Y'all got that. That happens all the time. Now, you know someone, you might not know you know someone, but you know somebody at least that knows somebody else that's been in that position. Because you say it all the time, man, I wish she wasn't, if she just walk away. When
Mm.
you hear about a V situation, she could leave. She could leave whenever she wants to.
It's not
Sometimes
that
mentally it's
easy.
really hard to do that.
It's not that easy. In any type of abusive relationship, it is
True.
not that easy.
Especially when you're dealing with grooming. Like these people have been promised things and shown things and given things, and it just builds over years, you guys. Like, all right, number two, it often starts with friendship, and that's like the hardest thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know how tight we are with our
Oh, we
friends.
friends.
Yeah. You know how
You
tight
my
we are with our
friend.
friends. You know how it is. And it kind of goes into that conversation of men and women can't be friends, or, and that's a slippery slope too. We're going to talk about that on the show too. We might get into that in the next few weeks, but I'm just saying, uh, let's move on. Number three, perpetrators use favors and promises to build trust.
Mm.
Hey, if you do this for me, listen, I got you.
Sweet.
Don't worry about you. Don't worry about that. I got it. I got you.
Perpetrators make promises
Mm-hmm.
to
To
build
build
trust.
trust. They do that all the time. Man, I hate.
What? That's
Listen,
the fact.
listen. Do you know how hard it is to research these things and then realize that you know a person? Like, I know I keep saying that, but it is really hard when you recognize. You're like, damn.
I'm about to tweet that right now.
All right, here we go. Number four. Secrecy is a common characteristic of grooming. Hey, don't
Who?
make secrecy. Make sure you
Okay.
don't tell nobody about us.
Mm-hmm.
They can't find out
Mm-hmm.
about us. Don't tell
Don't
your
ever tell
mom.
your
Don't tell your
mom.
dad. Don't tell your best
Mm-hmm.
friend. Don't
Don't
tell your
tell
cousin.
anybody. Why gotta be a secret?
Right? I don't want nobody to know about
Because
us
y'all
yet.
not
We'll
supposed to
tell them.
be talking.
Hey, then they'll tell them. And then you go back to that promise thing, right? Oh, no, we're going to tell them when I'm ready. I promise we're going to let them know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that easy. Number five, grooming can be difficult to distinguish from romance. They play the head games. They tell you they love you.
They don't
They
love
tell
me.
you you're beautiful.
I'm still believing that damn lie. From
It's
niggas
so
from
easy. Like,
folks my age.
it's so hard. It's so hard to distinguish for some people. I mean, yeah, you don't want to be that person that's just skeptical of everything. I get it. But man, you really got to be careful with what people say to you and how they're saying it. You got to pay real close attention. Number six, victims can get out. Yeah, you can get out. Like, have conversations with people. When you tell them, hey, this is what's happening with me and my new guy. What you think? And as a friend, you should be open and honest. And as a person, you should receive that and not think that your friend is being jealous. Okay? Like that's an important one too. Because we stop communicating when we have fear of somebody wanting to take stuff that's ours. But in reality, sometimes they just really want to help you. Learn learn how to discern in between those two. And that also comes with knowing who your friends are. Like if it's your friend and you trust them, 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna want to hurt you. A real friend
Nope.
won't.
A real friend don't want to hurt you. It's a fact.
Okay, so it also here it gives a hotline for a victim connect resource center, and that number here is 855-484-2846. And the domestic violence hotline is 1-800-799-7233.
Thank you.
Family members and friends can help, but it's important for them to tread carefully.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one I had to learn because I've never been through it, but I've known so many people that have, and it's like you kind of have to. You're telling them, hey, you know, I'm here for you. I want to be here for you. But then I used to let my anger get in the way, because I'm like, I'm tired of telling you this shit. But I was wrong on that part. Like, you have to be delicate in these situations.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure you're taking time because a victim, sometimes there's a mental element there that it's a barrier you have to break. And it is really hard to break that barrier.
You can't break the barrier. They got
They got to break it on their own.
there you go.
You're right.
There
You're
you go.
absolutely right.
You cannot break that barrier. It doesn't matter how much love you give to a person that's going through abuse. It doesn't matter how much it doesn't matter whatever you're saying to them. If they're not ready to break that barrier, they're not gonna break it.
Yep. Yep. So you have to be patient as a loved one. You just have to be patient, and you have to be there for them because when and if and when that fall happens, you have to make sure that they know that you're not judging them. You know, you have to make sure you say, "Hey, I'm here for you as a friend," but you also have to build that trust as a friend before you get to that moment. You can't just jump in day two and like, "Here I am." Before we end the episode, I want to give this hotline one more time, and that's the Victim Connect Resource Center. That's 855-42846 or 8554-VICTIM. And the domestic abuse hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-SAFE. Or you can text START to 88788. And you can also get on the website and chat. All
You
right.
got a lot of options these
Yeah,
days and times.
and that website is this is like the second time we've given this website.
Yeah, it is.
It's the hotline.org. All right.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add before I end the show?
No, I think we hit. Well, actually, I do.
Go
Let's
ahead.
talk about some music really, really fast.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I have not actually stumbled across any music because I've been patiently waiting for this Kanye West album to drop. Remember when we talked about it last episode and you were
Yeah.
like, if we knew if Kanye would have dropped the album, we would have known. I
Yeah.
missed the live stream, but I caught a couple of little, sneaky
How was
peekies.
it? I missed all of that.
You missed all of it?
I was mad too.
I'm excited. I'm definitely excited for this album, but I don't know when it's gonna drop. It was supposed to drop Friday, but who knows? All I know is Jigga Man dropped a verse
I
on one
know.
of the songs.
You know what though? Was it actually supposed to happen, or was it just Jay-Z just being Jay-Z? Because we constantly hear stories about Jay-Z jumping through and just dropping tracks and be like, "Hey, I made a verse. Here you go. Put it on your album."
Nah, you gotta listen to it. Because in one of the parts he was like, "It's the return of the throne." And I was like, what?
My mind.
You gotta listen to the verse. But he was teasing it. It didn't sound like he was really sincere about it. But when Jay-Z says something like that, it's more than likely it's gonna happen.
There's some conversations already been had.
The fact that he's on Kanye's song, it's the fact that he got a verse on one of the songs, and apparently he sent that verse in 4:00 that day before the stream. So originally that verse didn't even exist.
Because Jay-Z like to do things on the phone. That's how we roll.
H to the Izzo, V to the Izzy.
Before we move on to this episode, I forgot that I did want to bring this up with you. I wanted to talk about this with you like 2 nights ago. This Lupe, versus crap. What is his name? How did I lose his name?
Lupe got a versus coming out?
No, it's not a versus. Him and who's the dude that he does his damn podcast with? Lupe, the dude from the Eminem group with Joe Budden.
Royce the 5'9".
Fucking thank you. How did I forget his name? Oh my god.
And he has such like a different name.
It is. But Royce.
They got a song?
And Lupe? No, they are dissing each other. This is
dissing
a full-on rap battle. And oh my god.
Oh, for real? How am I missing this?
Oh my god. That second round. I haven't tuned back into round 3. I don't know if it's a round 3, but the second round with the actual diss tracks.
Brody, I guess to listen to it.
Both of them bringing the A game. And I'm not saying this because I'm biased to Lupe, but I feel like Lupe actually did the homework a little bit better than Royce did on this one. Both artists are phenomenal. I'm not taking that from either one of them, but I'm just saying if I had to I'm
BK
leaning
likes
with
Lupe
Lupe
a
so
little
far.
bit better.
Say what?
You like? I said BK likes Lupe a little bit better.
I
Just a
do like
little
Lupe
bit.
a little bit better, but like I promise you, this is not me being biased because I love both tracks. But
I believe you.
Lupe was actually eating. He was eating on this track. I was like,
For
yo,
real, I gotta
don't get
listen
me
to
wrong,
it.
Royce's is fucking amazing
I
still.
believe it.
But I just feel
But
like
Lupe
was
had,
actually,
but Lupe had his moment. That's what
because
you
in a diss
say.
track, I think in a diss track, it's important for
Mhm.
you to be concise, for you to make
Yes,
sense, for
yes, you do.
you got to punch your punchlines in, you got to hit
Yes, you
them,
do.
and you got to be able to recognize them.
Yeah,
Royce
and check
is,
that ass, check
yeah,
the ass, and everything.
Royce had his, but you know how Royce is. He be subliminal, and then he start going off on things, then he bring it back around. Lupe was like, nah, bruh, I'm coming right in for you. I'm bringing heat right.
Oh,
I had so much fun listening.
I gotta listen to it. I'm listening to it as soon as we finish. As soon as we're done today, I'm listening to it.
Yes, definitely. If I can go back, if I need to find the links, I will, but I don't know where they are right now. But anyway, oh, and my last thing, I found the old track that I was looking for a while. They finally put it back on Spotify. It's Alon Rock and Roll Gangster. It is the song in Boondocks when Riley found out that Gangsterlicious was gay.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Rock and Roll Gangster, rock it. Ooh, that's my theme song. I was like, oh, they put it back. It's on the playlist. It's on the BK Space Show playlist, by the way.
I gotta send some tracks. I think I gotta send some tracks to the BK Space Show playlist. Because listen, there's a few of them drinks that I definitely need to be on that playlist for sure.
Oh yeah, we gotta get the DC player now.
For sure.
All right, y'all, we gotta end the show. We went on way too long. I was not expecting to be on this long.
But we always having a good time. Yes, it was a whole thunderstorm that came in. They playing the slow jams upstairs. It's lit.
Somebody was outside like, hey, yo.
I think he was calling his girl or something. I don't know what was going on.
And I hope he found her because he sounded like he was real concerned. I heard it in his voice.
He was. See, you probably can hear that. I don't know if you can.
All right, Space Gang. I hope you got the hotlines. I hope you go check out the music, check out the playlist. Head over to this on Spotify, by the way. The playlist.
Yes, the playlist. Yes, Space Gang.
Head over to www.thebkspaceshow.com where you can get blogs and merchandise like this. Look at that cup. Look at that. We got both. You can't really see it, but I tried.
You gotta do the little influencer thing like this.
That's how you do it.
You gotta hold it closer.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
Look at that. I'm learning how to be an influencer on the spot, y'all. Don't look at my cup. That's coffee. I'm drinking coffee because I was sleepy before we started.
Yeah. It's okay. It's been a long day.
T-shirts,
long day.
Mugs, all that good
masks.
Stuff. Masks. Because you're going to need them because that Delta variant out here ain't playing no games apparently.
Yep. You need your mask, folks. Don't stop wearing that mask.
Do not. Oh, yeah. And make sure you head over to Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
So you can give us a review and some stars so we can hit that wet. What we headed to? That top wet?
That top 250 though.
That's right. So we
trying to get to that top 250.
250. Go give us some stars so we can get to that top 250.
Please. Thank you.
Because we love y'all and I know y'all love us.
We do love you guys though, like from the bottom of our hearts, like real life.
That's right.
Real life.
Have been the BK Spades, and I'm here with my very lovely co-host,
Novacaine, baby.
Yeah, Spades Gang. We up out this thing.